This is a catch-all term
Yes.
that used to be very in vogue, particularly among the wealthy. Not so much anymore, and why is that? I liked it.
Well, many people kind of miss it these days because it does seem to describe what a lot of people feel like they're going through. But when psychiatry started getting much more scientific, really starting about the 1960s when the DSM came into being for the first time.
What is the DSM again?
The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the
That's
really
right.
official diagnostic book of psychiatric disorders. A very vague term like nervous breakdown really kind of fell by the wayside because it was just too vague.
We need more codes for the insurance companies just to make things more complicated, right?
Right.
Now,
Yes.
but is there still such a thing as just a nervous breakdown? I mean, someone who may not have may not be bipolar, may not have a more serious psychiatric disease, may just like have too much going on at one time in life, and your body just goes enough.
Well, that is what there is no good word for right now, and what a lot of people are kind of longing for. And well, one expert told me it's not in the book because it's not a disorder, it's really modern life. But everybody kind of knows what you mean. It's when your ability to behave as an adult is overwhelmed by forces outside of your control.
Right. Too many things going on. If you're having a divorce, maybe there was a death in your family, work is too stressful. I wonder if during this, the economic downturn, if more people were prone to experiencing the symptoms that might have once been classified as nervous breakdown.
I think that's definitely the case, and I did hear from a number of psychiatrists that I talked to that they are seeing more people come in saying, gee, I think I'm having a nervous breakdown. But what the field has always been debating is how much of this is actually an underlying mental disorder and how much of it is a normal reaction to an awful lot of stress.
And isn't nervous breakdown kind of a woe for the 1%? I mean, if you were poor, they just basically said you were crazy, right?
That did happen, and for many decades, if you had a nervous breakdown and you were really well-to-do, you would get sent to some very plush retreat in the Alps or in the Rockies, and you'd have to dress for dinner no matter how severe your nervous breakdown was, and you rested, and that did a lot of people a lot of good.
Let me bet the insurance industry does not want us having nervous breakdowns and going off for the plush
That has
retreats.
changed a lot.
I bet
Yes.
they do not. Now, I don't want to make mock of this, though, because I think that people who do experience this, it is very significant. It is a real physical reaction, and it can happen. What do doctors say you should do if you haven't been classified with something else, and you really are just having just too much stress in your life? What's the treatment?
Well, definitely go and try to get help from some kind of a professional advisor, be it a psychologist, a social worker, or your primary care physician or a psychiatrist. Don't try to evaluate it and treat it yourself. Yeah. An awful lot of people resort to self-medication with alcohol or drugs or something else to get through a rough period like this, and that can just tip you over into substance abuse, which is another overlapping category of all this.